Welcome to my beauty channel. Today's look is inspired by what we all live for in the summertime, the 4th of July. This is the entire concept behind today's video. I wanted to create a look that would be fun yet practical for 4th of July festivities. We did do, as you can see, some pretty loud pops of color in light of the holiday, but the rest of the makeup was kept relatively simple, something that is ideal for being outside, daytime activities with your family, your friends. So continue watching and follow me on Instagram, Snapchat if you want to be in the know of beauty products, looks that I create on the weekly, and anything new that might be coming your way. Okay, so first things first, hydrate and prep. So I'm actually going to be using the brand new Cactus Water Hydrating Cream by BOSCIA. It just launched, I want to say last week, so we'll give it a try. It's my first time using it, but from what I've seen on other reviews of people who have tried it, they say it's really lightweight, meaning ideal if you have oily skin, and it also has a built-in primer. Oh, and it really does go on like water. It feels like water for your skin. Oh, and it's non-scented as well. This is something that is really great to have launched here in the summer. I feel like those heavy creams, not only are they too thick for the warm weather, but I feel like that's the last thing you want to do in your skincare routine when you come inside from being out in the sun, is to put a thick, heavy cream on your skin. This feels like just the right amount of what you would need. And it has relatively quick mattifying properties in it, so the wait time between actually applying your moisturizer and your makeup shouldn't be too long. Okay, so with that being done, the next step we'll do is just a little bit of under eye concealer. So we're going to use the Naked Skin by Urban Decay. It's a color correcting fluid. Lightly do a few little dots right in there. And then I'll take my off-brand beauty sponge and just go through and really lightly dab that in. I've been learning more recently to use a light hand when it comes to my makeup. I feel like we tend to have a heavier hand, especially when we're applying our own. Okay, so that's that. We're not going to go too in-depth with any under eye correcting. Again, this is for the 4th of July, outdoors, nothing too crazy, nothing too complicated. We want it to be fun, yet also have that effortless appeal. So next we're going to go in with, again, the Naked Skin Urban Decay Concealer. Now, for the purpose of what I'm using this for, I have a concealer that's similar to my current skin tone, because we're not doing any highlighting or any contouring. We're just going to try to even out the skin tone. I am going to go through and use the triangle technique, but I don't want to overwhelm it, so I'm just going to again use that dabbing motion. And lucky for you guys, I have a few breakouts going on right now, so I'm going to go through and just gently conceal any problem areas. I don't know why the right side of my face decided to betray me right before shooting this. And then again with my off-brand beauty blender, and then by off-brand I mean I bought it from Ulta. It's not the official beauty blender product. But I'm going to go in and just lightly blend that in. Be especially light when it comes to the concealer over any trouble spots that you might be concealing. If you're too rough, you might spread the concealer out, and essentially you'll be taking away the coverage that you were looking for in the first place. And if it's too sheer for you after you've gone through and done that blending, you can always apply more. So we have a really light coverage base to go in now. So with that being said, we're not going to do a foundation. Rather, we're going to use the BB Tinted Treatment Primer by Tarte. It does have SPF 30 in it, but I feel like the product itself goes on so creamy and so buttery that it never feels too heavy on my skin. I am going to go ahead and use my hands for this. That is completely up to you. I have always preferred using my hands over brushes, to be honest. I feel like I have the best control with my fingertips rather than a brush, but we all have our own technique, and it is completely up to you how you feel most comfortable. And just lightly blend it down. We're not doing too heavy of a hand, so you won't have to worry excessively about your jaw not blending into the rest of your face. My next step, which will be a little bit of a mattifying powder. I've been using the BAREMINERALS BAREPRO powder for the last year, and I feel like it's just the right amount of coverage for a more casual daytime look. I do often go a shade or two darker than what I naturally am, but I am going to go ahead and use Natural 11, and then I have the brush that they recommend using with the foundation. It's not necessary, but knowing me, I probably got suckered into it. And I'm not using a lot. I'm just going through like this and just lightly brushing it along my skin. There, so I feel like we have a clean slate to work with. Next up, eyebrows. So for this, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I have had my eyebrows cosmetically tattooed on. They have faded a bit. I had them done about 5 years ago, so they have faded, but I do still like to fill them in. So I'm just going to go in and use very light strokes. Again, you can always build on top of the makeup you already have going on. So just light strokes, and I'm really going to focus on just getting the shape down first and foremost. Another tip that you may or may not have heard of already is that you have to remember your eyebrows are sisters, not twins. And that was something that my modeling agent had told me when I was still doing that. And that was honestly a game changer for me. So with that being said, I do love to do more of an arch on my left brow. So I don't naturally have that going on, and I will end up, ooh, not that high though, not that wild. So I will go in and just slightly elevate that. Okay, so I'm content with how the brow is went, but I'm really stuck on my brows, so that is not the last step. I'm going to go through and brush them out, give them a more natural, slightly disheveled appearance. So I am going to dip into the Kat Von D Brow Struck powder, and I have always loved a dark brow and a blonde. So I'm using the color medium brown. So I really do this just to add a little more depth. So I'm just going to kind of follow the outline I've already created. And you can tell if I feel like I go too far out one direction, I'll simply use my finger to swipe it away. Nothing is too serious where you can't wipe it away. There. So now that we have the basics for our skin down, we're going to move on to the eyes. So for me personally, I do have oily eyelids, which can make it a bit of a challenge to reach that maximum staying power. Again, I just go ahead and use my finger and I just rub this all over my eyelid. It's a nice, I would say, bisque matte color. The beauty of it is that it's hard to go overboard because it does blend so flawlessly. If you have oily eyelids and you're having trouble with even getting your eyeliner to stay, this is a high recommendation. Voila. Okay, so typically I will do my eyeshadow first and then follow with my liner, but I'm going to do a little bit of a warped routine this go around and you'll see why. So this is where the fun happens. So a part of this 4th of July makeup routine, this is key. This is the Makeup Forever Aqua Eye Pencil in number I-24. So the reason I'm going to go ahead and apply this first as essentially an outline, because the eyeshadow I am using today, it's quite thick and has a pretty strong staying power. So I want to make sure that we have at least an outline to go through with our pencil after we apply that shadow. So start with this. If I don't like how high it went up, Q-tips are my best friend. So I am noticing that with the painterly pot underneath, this does have to be gone over several times to really get it to pop. I want to do a little bit of a thicker line. Oh my gosh! Do you guys see this? It literally broke off on my eyelid. No more weights at the gym, you guys. Shoot. It sucks. Okay, we are back in action. Yeah, so apparently, use some force, but don't use too heavy of a hand. Or skip the gym that day. Either should do. This is so fun to use. I remember experimenting with blue eyeliner in high school. My mom hated it though. I think it reminded her too much of the 80s, to be honest. So I do like the way that this has gone so far. So I'm going to put this down. Tracing back to what I was talking about before, the reason why we went ahead and did this before eyeshadow is because we're going to use the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow. This has the staying power like cement. Have a gentle hand, be delicate, and build. I have played with this a few different times and I cannot stress enough to build with this because it can get out of hand really fast. So it has a flat end, which is really nice to work with. So what I'm going to do, the technique I found the best for using this product is to go through and dab it. And you can also really just follow the line you've already created with yourself from using your liner. Ooh, I like that. I actually like it better than I thought I would. This is such a fun collection. If you haven't tried it, go to Sephora or Ulta and just play with it. Even swatch the different colors on your hand. I wouldn't personally recommend buying it without swatching it, because the color I had initially planned on purchasing for this look was not at all what I thought it would be when I got into the store. I'm really happy that I took the time to see what it actually looks like on skin. Ooh, I should mention too what color I'm using. Speaking of, so real quick, I am using the color Smoky Storm. I really think with this, I'm just going to do it on my lid, a little bit into my crease, but nothing crazy. Certainly not to the brow bone. It's a little too wild for the look I'm trying to achieve. I feel like this is just the right amount of drama. And you can certainly go in and swipe a little bit to blend when you have the bulk of what you're trying to achieve down. And the beauty of this product is that it doesn't dry right away, so you have a little room for air to go through with a Q-tip and buff it out. So for the time being, we're going to put that down. And I'm going to go ahead and sharpen my pencil. Once again, it's going to be a stub by the time I'm done here. And I'm just going to go through and then trace over that blue line we already made just to solidify. And there we have it. I also wear eyelash extensions, so I don't have any mascara tips for the upper lashes, but real quick I'm going to go through and just comb through my extensions. I don't know, I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with my eyelash extensions. I've had them for about 3 years, which is crazy. If you have any questions regarding them, feel free to comment below and ask, because I've definitely experienced the run-of-the-mill when it comes with them. Now, I don't want to do any eyeliner on the lower lash line because I want the look to stay fun yet subtle. I don't want it to be too overdone, and if you are going to be outside on the 4th of July, there's probably a high chance that your eyeliner will run if you're anything like I am. So instead, I'm just going to do a little bit of mascara, and maybe not even that if you have dark eyelashes. And I'm going to go ahead and use the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. This is my first time saying that, Giga Black. And I love this because the wand is long. It's just long and precise. I am still reeling over that eyeliner breaking right on top of my eyelid. I feel like that's never happened before. I feel like I broke off like $5 worth of liner. What a bummer. Alright. Yeah, I like that. I feel like that's just the right amount of drama for the eye, for the look we're going for. So next up, we're going to do a little bit of color on the face. And I went back and forth for a while trying to decide how I wanted to do this, but ultimately I went to a stable favorite in my life, in my makeup drawer. It's the Hourglass palette, Ambient in Volume 3. It's just so stunning, you guys. I think I only used this palette straight for like 6 months earlier this year because it's so beautiful. The colors are so pigmented and it's just the right amount of pinch. So I'm going to use the pink blush, number 6, and a brush by none other than It Cosmetics. I don't know if it's numbered, but that's what we're using. I'm just going to lightly dab my blush in there. And then go up a little bit into your temple. You don't want your blush to just be a straight swoop. So I'm not going to overdo my blush at this moment. I say that because I always overdo my blush. So after having done that, we're going to go ahead and do the little swirled bronzer. That would be number 4 in the palette. And I'm using a MAC brush that is so old the number has worn off, but I'm sure you can still buy it. I want to say it says 100. Easy enough. And we're just going to go right underneath, even almost blending into a little bit of where that blush was. It's just going to give us a little bit of depth in our cheekbones. Again, I want to keep the look relatively natural, so I'm not going to go too overboard with it. That's why we're only using a powder contour right now. And then be sure to just do a little bit into your hairline, especially if you're wearing your hair up. This is like the time to show off a bronzed forehead. Feel free to do a little bit along your jawline, but make sure you're blending down. You'll find your rhythm with your brush. So I'm going to go ahead and use the highlighter in number 2, and then just do a really basic highlight. Gentle hand, gentle strokes, top of the cheekbone, up the temple. Nothing too serious. And then I do love to do the tip of my nose. I think I'm just going to leave it there. I think that's enough for the look, for the event, for what we're going for. I think that's it. So lastly, for our face makeup, I do want to do a cheek topper, is what I like to call it. It's going to be the Peony Blend in Fresh Bloom by Clinique. And just, I think just lightly dab around. It gives such a nice peachy glow on top of the blush we already have going on. Okay, so last but certainly not least, this is one of the key components to really nailing this 4th of July Happy Birthday America look. And it's none other than a Marilyn Monroe inspired red lip. So the key to nailing a red lip is lip liner. Lip liner is key. You cannot skip lip liner with a red lip. Take your time. If you're late, but your lips are on point. So I'm going to start by doing my Cupid's bow to begin with. Ooh, see? It can go weary really fast. So the liner I am using right now is the Double Wear Stay in Place Lip Pencil. It's technically called Coral. I think it's red. It's by Estee Lauder. So I feel like that is plenty for what we're trying to achieve. Fenty Beauty. I'm so excited to use this product. It's her Uncensored Stunna Lip Paint. So we are going to go over what we have already outlined and really punch this in. Oh my gosh, you guys. Whew. She is red. And there you have it, you guys. My 4th of July Happy Birthday America look. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time.